So yesterday, up to normalizations we discussed, and the next one is okay, PLSQL. So in SQL language, we covered a few concepts. Okay, in SQL part one, and some more concepts we will discuss under PLSQL. Okay, and first of all, we should know what is the differences between SQL and PLSQL. Okay, SQL PLSQL differences what now? Okay, and now what kind of problems or what kind of features are not supported by your SQL, and those features how I can go to implement by using of what now? PLSQL language. Okay, now so first introduction, that means completely theory part. So I will explain to you the complete theory, and later we will go for the practical. Okay, so in theoretically, okay, I will explain to you what is what. Let me check it out. And the first thing is the differences of SQL and PLSQL. What kind of the differences are there? And SQL, which kind of features we cannot implement under SQL, and what kind of features are supporting by your PLSQL. Okay, now. So it's a completely theory session, the first introductions parts. Okay, so I'm just giving that notes. Okay, and let me see here. PLSQL stands for it's a procedure language, which is an extension of SQL. Okay, and this language we all of you know. Okay, in futures we discuss it was introducing 6.0 version. So that means before 6.0 there is no PLSQL language, and we have only SQL language. Okay, and when come to the first difference of your SQL and PLSQL is SQL is a non-procedural language. So what is the mean by procedures and non-procedures? Okay, for example, your Java. Java is which type? Procedure, non-procedure? Non-procedure. Huh? What here? Procedure, non-procedure is a basic C language, basic fundamentals. Those are. Java is what? Procedure, non-procedure. Procedure, na? Remember, every language is a procedure only. C language, C++, .NET, Java, Python, yes or no? But in this procedural, there are two categories: non-object oriented, object oriented. Okay. So come to SQL is called as a non-procedural language. So why, sir? And when I say my language is a procedural language, when we can say means that when a language will be supported multi-line statement execution process, okay, is called as a procedural language. You can see C language, C++, Java, .NET, Python. These are all our multi-line statements execution mechanisms. Okay, now? So that is one thing. But that kind of multi-line statements execution process, you never see in your SQL language. Because in SQL language, we are using only queries. Okay, only one line query, single line statement queries only we written, like joins, subqueries, set operators, any concept. Once you want to recall, everything is what now? One line statement, okay, operations. So that means SQL is not supporting multi-line statements, whereas PLSQLs are supported. That is the one difference. Now, can you see the language which can supporting conditional and looping statements? Conditional statements means what? Conditional statements. Okay. If else, multiple if else, nested if else, these are called as a conditional statements. Looping statements means for loop, while loop, do while, for each loop. Yes or no? These are called as a looping statements. Okay, na? So when the language is supporting conditional and looping statements, then the language is called as a procedure. So can you tell me C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, these all are supported? Yes. But SQL language, can you see anywhere I'm using if else conditions? No, we are not using any if else conditions, for loop conditions, yes or no, while loop conditions, that kind of statements we never see there. Okay, that kind of things are not supported in your SQL. Okay, so which we cannot support multi-line, conditional, looping, variable declarations. So these kind of things are called as a non-procedure. And that all non-procedures, whatever I said, that we cannot implement under SQL. But whereas PLSQL is supported procedure language, in PLSQL, I can use multi-line statement execution program, and I can use if-else conditions, looping conditions, and exception handlings I can implement here, and variable declarations, variable printing, yes or no? So there's all kind of things we can do under PLSQL. That's why PLSQL is called as a procedural language. Okay, that's one difference. And I said SQL language single line statement, and whereas PLSQL supported multi-line. When this is a situation, what it was happen, you can see. Okay, now in this situation, now can you see what is the mean by single line and multi-line? You can see. So single line statement, okay, single line statement execution process of, okay, SQL. So in this case, what it was happen, you can see that means user, whenever he was sending a query request, it may be insert request multiple times you can send, or else insert, update, delete, selector, you can send whatever you can send here. Every query request will treat as a new request by your server. So the same query request, if I send 3 times, then the query will treat as a new request. So first time same query I'm sending, it will take as a new request. New request means it will be compile, execute, and sending response. Second time also, I'm sending same query, insert 2. But second time, whatever the query I send it, again, this query is also treated as a new request. So again, compilation, again, execution, again, sending response. Again, the same query, one more time I'm sending now. But again, it will treat as a new request. Again, compile, execute, and sending response. So that means a same query, if you send number of times, that each and every time it will treat as a new request. So when it will treat as a new request, definitely it need a compilation. It's need a execution. So, and sending responses. So that means here, what it was happen, either same request or different request, whatever you send, but every request will take as a new request. So that means here, how many queries I send here? 3 times I'm sending now. How many times? 3 times I'm sending my insert query. Okay. In this 3 times, what it was happen? 3 compilations are happen. How many compilations do? 3 compilations. So each and every query, individual compilations are happen. Okay, na? So individual compilations, okay, 3 times, 3 compilations. Suppose there are a user, he was sending 100 queries request. He was sending 100 queries request. Then how many compilations? 100 compilations. So that means each and every time we need to do compilation means your performance will be increased or decreases. Your performance will be decrease, because every time the same query, if I send 100 times, then 100 times it will be compiled. So that means unnecessarily time waste. Okay, now. And one more thing is what now? Every request purpose, it will be do compile, execute, compile, execute, compile, execute, and sending responses. Automatically, your database performance is also degraded. Okay, now that kind of problem we have in this SQL. And that problem I discussed. In SQL Server or in SQL, every query statement is compiling and executing individually, so that number of compilations are increased and reduce performance of database. This is what now SQL. But whereas to overcome that problem under PLSQL, what we can do, the user will create a block. Okay, your PLSQL, we created a blocks. In this block, we are writing some set of statements, group of statements, multiple statements. We are writing under a single block. So in this block here, how many statements are written? 3 times I'm returning same statement, or different statements also you can write, no problem. So when I'm writing like this, what it was happen in this block, how many number of queries you written, how many number of statements you written, it's none of the matter. But this entire block will take by your Oracle server as a how many requests? Only one request. So in the block, you can write number of statements, number of queries, but that entire block will treat as what now? Only one request. And one request means how many compilations? One compilations. How many executions? One execution sent back to user. So the same situation here, 3 times compilation, but here 1 time compilation. Now tell me, which performance is good? SQL queries are, PLSQL blocks are? ALX blocks. This is the difference of SQL and PLSQL. So like I was given here, what is this? In PLSQL, all SQL queries are grouped into a single block, and which will compile and executing only one time, so that it will reduce number of compilations and improve performance of data. So these are some difference. And the point I discussed, the futures of PLSQL to improve performance. This is the reason. And supporting conditional looping statement, but these are not supported into SQL. Supporting reusability of code, but these are not supported into SQL. Providing security, okay, because your all programs are saved in database and authorized users. Authorized means granting people. So who are having granting permissions, those users can see your code. Otherwise, unauthorized people, they can't see your programming code. That kind of security will provided here. Okay. And along with that, some other features. Supporting portability. Okay. That means PLSQL programs can be moved from one platform to another platform without any changes. Platform, okay. So platform means what now? OS. So that means once you develop your PLSQL program in Windows application or Windows operating system, the same code I can move into another platform, Linux, Unix, Mac, Solaris, etc. Okay, without any changes. Same thing your Java also, na? Yes or no? When we develop your Java program in one operating system, the same programming code can I run in any other operating systems? Yes. It's a platform independent or dependence? Platform independent. PLSQL is also platform independent language. Okay, now? Right. And supporting exception handlings. That means runtime errors, abnormal terminations are how to handle. But these things are not supported into SQL. Next one, supporting modular programming. So modular programming is nothing but, suppose when you're developing one application, for application development, you are writing some very big code. So that entire the code, if I want to manage, it's highly difficult. That's what the people will do. The code will be divided into small units. That units may be procedure or functions. Can you see in your Java programs? Are you created a class? Under class, you're creating number of functions. Yes or no? So static void main after what is the public void function name or private void function names. Number of functions we are creating in a one program. Why are you creating functions wise your code? Because of reason, whenever you want to particular function, if you want to reusable into another class, for example, inheritance mechanisms are there. Parent class, child class. Parent class, all methods, can I use into child class? Yes. So when you're dividing your big code into small units, it was very easy to that means easy to find out your compilation errors wherever, which and which block it is occurred. That is easiness to the programmer and user friendliness. Okay. Instead of handling big code, when I'm handling a small code, it was somewhat easy for us. So that kind of mechanisms also supported in our PLSQL, that is called a modular programming language. So modular means what now? A big program can be divided into small modules which are called as a procedures or functions. That's why you are saying that what is function? Function is a piece of code which will be perform some task and return some value. Piece of code. A function is nothing but some piece of code. So dividing into small pieces. Okay, your big code divided into small pieces, and that small pieces we are writing under functions. Okay, now then it was very easy to move which function you want it, you can call easily. Yes or no? So that kind of modular programming concept also supported in our PLSQL. Okay, now so these are what now the futures as well as differences of your SQL and PLSQL. Okay, now write down text heading PLSQL. So main heading PLSQL and subside heading introduction to PLSQL. So now take up to here. And after that, you can take this diagram also, the differences of your single line statement and multi-line statement. Points are not completed. Okay. Now the next continue. Okay, completed now. And the next one is PLSQL architecture. That means once you write your PLSQL program, how the program will be executed internally. Here, observe. So PLSQL is called as it is a block structure programming language. So when I'm using PLSQL language, compulsory we should write our programs under blocks. And remember, without a block, there is no PLSQL language. So whatever you write, either one line statement also you can write under blocks only. Okay, na? So that is called as block structure programming language. And here, how the PLSQL code will be internally executed. Okay, so it will be like this. Now you can see this is my PLSQL block. In this block, declaration block is there, and begin block is called as a execution block. So in this block, I can write SQL queries and also PLSQL code. That means I can use both. Even though we can write our SQL queries under PLSQL blocks. And later, next one is exception block is there. Suppose, are you writing one program? Suppose in that program, you are using SQL queries and also PLSQL code. Both we are using. We are using both SQL query using and PLSQL program also we written. Then what it was happened here. So now when we submitted this program, that means we are ready to execute this program. Internally, what it was happen, your PLSQL engine, it will be separated your SQL query and PLSQL code. Okay. So whatever SQL related queries are there, those queries are separated. Whatever PLSQL related code is there, the code will be separate. After separated, what PLSQL engine will do, your PLSQL code sending to PLSQL executor. And PLSQL executors, what it will do internally means it will be compiling your code and executing, sending request, or sorry, sending response. So that was done by PLSQL executor. So that means PLSQL executor can understand only PLSQL code, but SQL queries are not understand. That's why what PLSQL engine will do, this SQL queries are sending to SQL engine. SQL engine, in SQL engine, what it was there? SQL executor is there. This SQL executor executing your SQL query. Okay, na? So internally in your PLSQL programs, when we use SQL query and PLSQL code, this both combination, are you writing some program, are you developing some code, the code will be divided like this. So SQL separated, PLSQL separate, PLSQL code sending to PLSQL executor, SQL queries are sending to SQL engine, and SQL engine, SQL executors are there. SQL executors will take responsibility to compile and execute your queries, and PLSQL executors are having responsibility to compile and execute PLSQL code. Okay, na? So in this manner, internally, your code will be performed. Okay, na? Write down below. So take your PLSQL architecture and take the diagram. Okay, completed. Okay, so below, just check it out. The above diagram explanation, whatever I was explaining to you. So what we said, whenever we are submitting PLSQL block into Oracle server, then all SQL statements are separated and executing by SQL query executor within SQL engine. Whereas all PLSQL statements are separated and executing by PLSQL code executor within PLSQL engine. Okay, now right on below. Okay, right. So here we said PLSQL is one of the block structure programming language. Okay, na? So that means what is block and how many types of blocks in PLSQL we will discuss. Now we can see, I said here a block is nothing but it is a set of statements. So that means you can write 100 lines of statements, 1,000, 2,000. So any number of statements you can write into one single block. Okay. So either 10 lines or 5 lines or 20 lines or 100 lines or 1 lakh lines, it's not necessary, it's not matter. It will be accepting that. So that is called a set of statements, and that all set of statements in a one block will take as a one request, and that request will be compiled and executed by PLSQL. Okay. And PLSQL supported two types of blocks, anonymous and subblocks. So what is anonymous and subblocks here? Observe. Anonymous blocks are we called as a unnamed blocks. That means these blocks, when I'm using to write some programs, these blocks are not having any names. I can't give any name for these programs. Just open my anonymous block and directly I can write my program. But I don't want to give it, or else I'm unable to give it a name of the program. So that's why it is called as a unnamed. But subblocks are not like that. It's quite opposite. When I'm going to writing the program in subblock, compulsory we should give a name of the block. So without name, subblocks are cannot create. Okay, compulsory we should give some name for your program. So that is called a named block. And anonymous block code will not save. Okay, whatever we are writing under anonymous blocks, the code will never save. But subblocks codes are automatically saved. Okay, so the difference observed. Anonymous block code is not saving. But the same code, when we written under subblock, then the code will be saved. So now whenever it is not same means I can't reusable. Whenever it was saving means I can reusable. And the next anonymous block, what it was happen every time compilation of the code. So for example, are you writing one program? First time the program are you executed? So definitely first time whenever the program is executed, compulsory we need to go compilation first. Compilation, after compilation execution, then sending response. But already compiled code, again I'm sending to my server. Tell me, already compiled code, if again I'm sending to my server, server is necessary to compilation again? It's necessary? No, because code already compiled. So same as it is code, whatever it was compiled, same code again I'm sending. When again are you sending to your server, why should again I want to compile? Is it necessary? No. But here anonymous blocks are happening that case. Every time when you send anonymous block request, then it will be compile, 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 compile. That is what it was happen. Okay, but subblocks are not like that. It is a pre-compiled code. What does it mean by pre-compilation? Pre-compiled means already compiled. Okay, so subblocks only first time compilation will happen. First time means when first time are you executing your program after writing and executing your program, at the first attempt only compilations are done. So once compilation first time is over, from the second time, the same compiled code, if I'm sending to my server, server will not go to compile again. Instead of compile, directly executed. Now tell me, time is saving now? Compilation time is saved or not? Yes, that is one advantage. So anonymous block, if you see these all points here, all are drawbacks. Then anonymous blocks are almost each and every point is a drawback. Then where we want to use anonymous blocks in real time? In real time companies, where they want to use means they are using under database testing levels. Okay, query testing level, PLS code testing levels, they will be using anonymous blocks, only testing purpose. But subblocks are each and every point is an advantage. Okay, and where you can use means subblocks are using in a application developments, applications, Java applications, .NET and database application. That's why Java students must and should be know subblocks. It's very important for Java people, .NET and database people who are working on application development side. That means developers. Okay, now these are the differences of your anonymous and subblocks. Okay, now take Okay, right. And first we will see about anonymous blocks, and after we discuss subblocks. Okay. So come to your anonymous blocks. Okay. And in this, again, we have a three blocks are there. One is we called as declaration block, execution block, exception block. So whatever we discuss, okay, in this PLSQL block, declaration, execution, exception. So these are the three blocks are there now, same as your three blocks. So what is declaration? Okay, and what we write under execution and exception. Here observe. Declaration block, this block starts with a declare statement. And in this block, we just declaring our required variables, cursors, and user defined exception names. So under this block, other than declaration, we are not writing any logical implementations here, only for declarations purpose. And this block is called as a optional. Okay, because when we are writing a program, for program purpose, if you need a variables, then only we are declaring variables. But if I don't want it any variable for my program, then I'm not using declaration block. So that's why declaration block is a optional block. Okay. Next one is called as a execution block. Execution block is a mandatory block. It is just like in your Java programs, like a main method. Can you tell me without main method, your program can execute? No, impossible. So how we can say without execution block, we can't go for PLSQL programs. Okay, na? So it's a mandatory block. And this block starts with the begin statement, ends with the end statement. And in this block, we are implementing SQL queries and also PLSQL logics. Okay, and this is mandatory. Next one is called as what now? Exception block. Exception block is started with the exception statement handling exceptions. So whenever you want to write some programs, definitely there is a chance to occur exceptions. So those exceptions, how you are handling in your .NET, Java, yes or no? Same as here also. If any exception is occurred in my PLSQL programs, those exceptions can handle. And how I can handle means with the help of exception block. And this is also optional, not mandatory. Okay. So finally, if anybody asks you, what is the structure of PLSQL program? Like you have C language having C structure, C++, C++ structure. Java is also having structure. Yes, structure means not structures. Structure means programming design. Okay, na? Yes or no? Class, class name, open brackets. Okay, then what now? Some statements. Later, static void main, open, some statements, close. If you want to create object, object. Yes or no? That is what we called a structure of the program. So every programming language is having its own structure. In that pattern only, my programming code should be written. Okay, tell me, in Java, can I start my program in any manner? Huh? No, na? We should follow some structure, na? Same as anonymous block. That's called PLSQL blocks also. This is the structure of PLSQL block. First, declaration. Under declaration, variables, cursors, user-defined exception. Execution block starts with begin, writing queries, okay, implementing code. Exception block starts with exception, handling exceptions, and this symbol is used for executing of this program. If in PLSQL, if you're not using the slash, your program will not execute. And of course, if in your Java.NET also, .NET people, when they want to execute the program, they're pressing some F5 keyword. And you people, how to run? How you run your Java program? Huh? Jara? No, yeah. Are you writing on Java program? Na? The program I want to execute. What is the mechanism to execute? Command prompt. Open your command prompt. Java action sum. So are you using na? How to compile and execute? Here also slash is nothing but after, suppose are you writing some program up to here close. After that, if you leave like this, if you enter like this, okay, it doesn't execute your program. So compulsory this program, if I want to run, I want to execute, okay, compulsory what should be? Slash. Slash compulsory. Without slash, you cannot execute your program. Okay, na? That's why in PLSQL compulsory should be use a slash execution of the program. Otherwise, program is ready to execute. Okay, na? So this is the structure of your PLSQL block. Okay, na? Right down below. Completed. Okay, right. So this is your structure of PLSQL program, and now we will see about the variables. So variables how to declare in your PLSQL. There are three steps mechanism. First, I have to declare my variable. The syntax of your declaration block starts with declare statement and variable name after data type. But in your front end side, first data type, later variable int x. This is front end. X int is a backend. Okay, the slight differences. So first I need to give variable name after data type. So here I'm giving declaration block. A is a variable name. Which type? Number type. R, A, which type? Integer. B, variable name. Which type? Varchar2. Like this, you have to declare variables. And whenever you need to assigning or storing a value into variables. So how we can means variable name. Okay, here colon is equals to. Okay, now here equals to is not supported, only equals to if you give it is. If you give it here, then your PLSQL will understand that equal operator is nothing but comparing operator. That means comparing, your value is comparing, but not storing. So whenever you want to store some value, then you can use colon equals to. Colon equals to is the assignment operator in PLSQL. So whenever you want to use colon is equals to, it means assigning purpose, storing purpose. If I'm using only equals to means comparison purpose. Okay, na? So when you want to store some value into variable, then use a colon is equals to. When you want to compare a value, then use a equal operator. So equal operator, comparing purpose. Colon equals to assignment purpose, assigning value purpose. Okay, that's what. And now I was given here a colon is equals to 1021. It will be storing. B colon is equals to psi. And now your colon is equals to called a assignment operator in PLSQL. Equals to is called as a comparison operators in PLSQL. Okay, na? That's what. And later, my variables how to print. How to print your Java? System dot out dot println. Yes or no? In C++, C in, C out. C language, printf, scanf. Okay, na? So like this, if you need to print your variables, okay, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line and variable name. Otherwise, sometimes if I need to print user-friendly messages, even I can send it. For example, dbms underscore output dot put underscore a. A is how much? A value how much? 1021 is print on my screen. Okay. And B value how much? Sai will print. And some user defined message. So suppose you want to print some message. Okay. Then I can write directly welcome to PLS. So these are the three steps. First one, declaration of variable. Next, assigning value to the variable. Next, printing those variable values on my screen. Okay, na? There's three steps, remember, right? Take next one, siding variables in PLSQL. Okay, completed. Mm. So these are some theory information about your introduction PLSQL, and based on these three steps, so we will see some basic examples. Okay, how to declare your variable and how to assign values dynamically as well as fixed values, and finally how I can print my variable values. Okay, now there's three steps how to use that I will show you in the programs, but those programs we will start in tomorrow's session. Okay, now. Right, guys. So thank you. Thank you so much. And online people have any queries, send. No queries, log out. This is user defined data type create करना चाहिए, right? पास create होने के बाद जो data type का नाम दिया है आपने user defined का नाम, वो आपका एक कॉलम के ऊपर अप्लाई करना है. Privileges. So privilege कौन सा है? Grant create type to user. इसमें ये भी वही है. Yes, you can write your normal. So, tools are same tools. You can write, okay, now. So tools are same. I'm using SQL plus SQL developer. Any tool you can use. Okay, now. Right. Or anybody's there, online students? Have a query, so send it. Otherwise, log out. Anything you can use Nirmal, anything you can use that your wish. You can use SQL developer, SQL plus. The concept is same. Okay, na? In real time, not only SQL developer. Okay, na? SQL plus also using. Third also using. Okay, na? Concept, syntaxes, everything will same. You can develop in any, that is just editor, okay. Some companies are using SQL plus. It means that what I can do. Some students are asking to me, sir, SQL plus we want to learn. You are saying SQL developer. Some students are asking third. What I want to take decision. Any editor you can use, no problem. I'm using SQL plus in my company. Okay, now in my company, we are using SQL plus. Okay. That's why editors are not a big matter. It's just editor. Okay, na? But say, concept, for example, Java program can be write into any editor. Eclipse, My Eclipse, Edit Plus, Notepad. Yes or no? Can we write Java program? Or Java program only I can write into Edit Plus? Is there any restriction is there? No, na. Those are just editors. Okay, use any editor. Or anybody, online students?